All right, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Elder Boaz here. Well, it has been a very productive past couple of weeks here on the land. I've been mostly, since coming back from Passover, been on the land. We are in the process of the crew that I'm working with. We're waiting for a pad to be cleared to build another home like the one that we built out in the sticks. And so I'm looking forward to that project. But when that starts, it's just going to be, it's going to take us a couple of months to build that home, and it's even larger than the previous one that we built. But with spring here, I mean, the weather has been very wacky in terms of cold spells, and we even had some snow before the spring came in, and we've been busy planting the garden, getting the seeds together, preparing the soil, moving a lot of the sheep shit into the garden, and just adding as much nitrogen as possible to the soil before we begin to plant. But one of the major projects that I wanted to complete, now that I have completed it, is the fencing of the entire property. We have about 5.9 acres here, and we've been able to fence the entire property off so that the sheep can pretty much roam inside of the pastures, the back of the property, as well as the main pasture here. And then you have stuff like side areas here that they can eat. So that was a major undertaking. It took altogether about 3 rolls to finish off the entire property, and we've been able to accomplish that. And I am boasting now probably a 95 and 98% utilization rate when it comes to all of the grass, because especially this grass out here in front, I'm never going to build anything in the front of the property, but the idea is that there's plenty of grass growing, and the notion is to just get the sheep to eat up all of that grass. I mean, in the front gate, it's funny, I'll show you a project that I've been wanting to do for the past couple of years now, and it's this. It's funny how, we drag the damn gate open, and, I've been telling myself, go ahead and get the piece for the front gate, so I was able to get that as well. But the idea is that in the front area, I was able, cordon off this area for the sheep, so they're able to go all the way from the side. And the only area I have to cordon off is that area over there. And it's going to take a little, probably not even a whole roll. And those rolls come in 330 feet. But the idea is that all in the back is fenced off. All in the sides are fenced off. And so the name of the game is that, I'll be able to, based on the flock of 30 now, and they're not putting a dent in this pasture, I'll be able to at least double the flock. And maintain that in a healthy environment where, because in the spring I go straight to grass. Everything is grass fed. The chickens are grass fed. The sheep are grass fed, and I try and get them off the grain as quickly as possible. That hay and grain, I try and get them off of that as quickly as possible when the grass starts growing. So. This is why, in earlier videos you've seen me taking the sheep out to forage in the wooded areas, and in the back where grass is growing, where that winter rye is growing and stuff. And so they're able to get that until the grass and the weeds start growing up around the property. So that's why it's, just so important that, fence off as much as you can, because they eat all of the grass. They, all of those little weeds and shrubs and stuff, all of that stuff, it's going to grow up big time in the summertime, and it's going to be filled. And so the idea is that I can do an effective program of pasture management and pasture rotation to ensure that not each paddock is getting the nutrients that it needs, the regrowth that it needs. I mean, I know people in community, I mean, they had to reseed their entire pasture because they didn't do a good job of pasture management. And others, that lost a whole flock of sheep and goats because, they were not taking care of their pastures. And so, if you don't take care of your pasture, a lot of things can take place as a result of it. Number one, diseases can propagate. So not only do you have to take care of the grass and the pasture, you have to make sure that all of the weeds or all of the grass or all of the trees that may be poisonous to your animals are removed. It took me several years to, constantly pick out in the pasture area some of the plants that were toxic to sheep. So, that had to be manually pulled out. But now there's no more of those plants that are growing because we were able to physically remove them from the paddock. Now, I mean, going from spring, from winter to spring, I've been checking the sheep shit and no parasites. I mean, I've been able to totally eliminate parasites from the pasture, and I don't have to worry about that again because of effective pasture management, pasture rotation, and just ensuring that, hey, you are getting your flock good, clean water and good, clean pasture. I mean, because that's what it comes down to. You want to ensure that they're eating clean and they're drinking clean, and that there's not a buildup of feces or anything like that. We're going to be working on a project of extending out the pole barn to receive enough hay for the wintertime. In addition to that, make sure that the growth in flock, there is enough bedding in them for the wintertime, and I have to do a couple of other little mini projects in terms of putting a little heater lamp or a little heater space in the field, so that, and that will be run by propane, so that when the flock is giving birth, and even in the wintertime, they can keep their babies warm. Because, definitely I did lose a couple of sheep, baby lambs, as a result of the cold. So, it's one of these things where, you're raising sheep and goats and, you're becoming proficient at it. These are things that you're going to learn. But once, you get it down packed and you follow the program, the blessings will come. The blessings definitely will come. And it's a blessing to have a healthy flock. One of the things I learned is not to add to the flock, because, we went to this swap meet for sheep and goats the other day, and, people, they'll sell you sick sheep and sick goats or whatever, and they'll give you sick sheep and sick goats. So you got to be real careful, because that, what it does is it contaminates your pasture, and you have to give that time to rest, so that, it's not infecting all of your flock. So, good, clean pasture, well fenced off, to ensure that they have a good diversity of weeds, vines, shrubs, things of that nature, so that, they have that good diversity in their diet, and you will have some good, fine meat for your family. And, it's all about self-sufficiency, but, as well, this is a business for me in terms of raising, a flock to sell excess into the market. So, it's beautiful out here. I look forward to the spring. I mean, it's surrounded by trees. I mean, I'm looking forward to all of those trees heavily bloom. You can't really even see back here. I mean, it's just beautiful. I mean, I just love the privacy. I love the seclusion. But we'll keep you posted. But that's what's going on in terms of the fence. And I mean, all of the fences, it took a lot of trial and error, but we were able to get it done. And everything is fenced off now. So it's a beautiful thing. I'll be doing a quick update on the greenhouse next. All right. Shabbat Shalom.